All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're putting away the spreadsheets and the data for a bit. Instead, we're going to crack open someone's personal travel journal. This thing is filled with a lifetime of searching for history, for atmosphere, and, yeah, for the occasional, very real ghost story. So let's turn the first page together.
So, whose journal is this? Our guide on this trip is a guy named Todd Atterbury. He's a writer and an artist who has spent years wandering through some of the most haunted spots in the US and Great Britain. But see, he's not your typical ghost hunter. His real goal isn't just to find ghosts, it's to chase a certain feeling. You know that moment when the past just feels incredibly close? Well, sometimes he finds a whole lot more than just a feeling.
I mean, right out of the gate, he hits us with this one. Picture it. He's in Washington Irving's old home, Sunnyside. It's just him and his guide, totally alone in the house. And then, clear as day, they both hear it, a young woman's laughter, just echoing through the empty rooms. Chilling, right? And it doesn't stop there. Then there was the time at this old inn in Massachusetts. He steps out of a room that's famously haunted by a spirit named Jerusha, and he hears this little click behind him. The hook latch on the door has been thrown from the inside. And, you guessed it, the room was completely empty. No way. And then there's this one. I mean, the phrase set upon by a host of ghosts, that is some next level stuff. He says the night was so intense that he actually left with an illness that stuck with him for months. But here's the thing about these crazy in-your-face encounters. They're the exception for him, not the rule. To really understand what he's searching for, we have to go back to the very beginning. You know how it is. A lot of the biggest stories in our lives start at home. And it's no different for him. Long before he was exploring historic inns and famous haunted places, the first and most important haunting happened right inside his own family's house. So just look at this timeline. This wasn't some one-off spooky event. It starts when he's not even 5 years old. He sees a full-bodied apparition. His parents, of course, just brush it off as a kid's imagination. But then, decades later, his mother casually admits that, oh yeah, she and her mother had seen that exact same figure. It's like he says, he comes by this stuff naturally. But the most powerful moment of all, that happened just a few years ago. Okay, so his mom had passed away, and his dad was in a nursing home. He's standing alone one day in the family kitchen, about to turn off the lights, when suddenly he gets hit with this wave of his dad's cologne, Aqua Velva. And it wasn't a faint smell, it was strong. His dad was never a subtle guy. The scent was so overpowering that he actually joked out loud to the empty house, "Dad must have just died." He goes upstairs, sits down at his desk, and then the phone rings. It was the nursing home. They were calling to tell him he needed to come right away. His father was gone. I mean, that's one of those moments that just completely blurs the line between a coincidence and something else, right? So with a story like that in your own past, it's really no surprise that his life became this long journey to find other places with that same kind of atmosphere. That personal history just blossomed into this incredible logbook of encounters from all over the US and Britain. And you can just see the range of his experiences here. We're talking everything from a medieval spirit in Glastonbury to hearing phantom voices in the tragic Limp Mansion. But check out that last point. In Salem, Massachusetts, of all places, he wakes up to moaning sounds, thinks this is it, only to figure out it was just the wind howling down the chimney. And this is so important. It shows he's a believer, but he's also a skeptic. He knows how easy it is to trick yourself, especially when you really want to believe. And that skeptical side of him brings us right to the heart of the whole thing, doesn't it? It's the central conflict that runs through his entire journal. The classic, age-old battle, can your personal experience ever really hold up against the demands for cold, hard, scientific proof? It really boils down to two completely different ways of knowing something. On one side, you've got science. It needs proof you can repeat over and over again. It has to play by the known laws of nature. It's limited by what it can physically measure. But then you've got belief that's built on personal moments, on experiences, and it's not some new fad. It's something that has been a part of every single culture for thousands of years. His argument is that maybe, just maybe, science doesn't have the right tools for this particular job. And this, right here, is his whole philosophy in a nutshell. He thinks it's arrogant for a skeptic to just flat out say ghosts don't exist, especially when you consider the mountain of stories from all of human history. But, and this is key, he says it's equally arrogant for a believer to claim they know exactly what ghosts are and how it all works. For him, the real truth is just accepting the mystery. So if we can't prove them or explain them, what's even the point?
Well, he suggests that maybe their real value is as a kind of memento mori. It's an old Latin phrase you'd see on colonial tombstones that means remember you must die. The idea of ghosts, whether you believe in them or not, kind of forces you to think about your own life, your own consciousness, and what it all means. It's a powerful reminder to live while you can.
So that brings us to the final chapter of this journal, and this one is really an invitation. For you, for me, for all of us. It's basically a field guide, not for proving ghosts exist, but for finding that same incredible feeling of possibility that our traveler has been chasing his whole life. Really, it all comes down to a big shift in your mindset. You gotta forget about the EMF meters and the fancy cameras. The real goal is just to find those places that are so soaked in history, old inns, battlefields, ancient pubs, that the line between then and now just feels thin. You're not chasing a recording, you're chasing an atmosphere. So how do you actually do this on your own trips? Well, first, choose your locations wisely. Seek out that atmosphere. Second, just listen. Listen to the local stories, because ghosts really belong to the storytellers. Third, let your mind wander a bit. Allow yourself to feel the mood of a place. And maybe most importantly, embrace the questions. A haunted place should leave you with more questions than answers, because that's the whole point. And that leaves us with one final thought to mull over. Our traveler suggests that maybe ghosts are just a blank canvas, and we're the ones who project all our own hopes and fears about life and death onto them. So in the end, whether you're a diehard believer or you think it's all complete nonsense, the real question isn't, are ghosts real? It's, what does your answer say about you?